magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y bumay. Lupang hinirang, buyan ka ng magiliw, sa manlulupi, kita masisingil, sa lagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo kamay. May nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang tinamahan, ang kisap ng watawat mo'y nagumpay na nakikinig, ang bituin ng araw niya kailan ang pwede magdidilig. Lupa ng araw ng maraming pagsip na kulay langit sa ating ko. Aming ligaya naman may mamagin at namatay ng tayo sa'yo.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Anyway, we're back after 3 weeks, over 3 weeks furlough ng Real Pick.Yard. We're back again. So, and for tonight, we have interesting panelists. Pero ang nasa atin na ngayon is Jolly Laboy, who is a professor of this University of Southern Philippines. But he'll introduce himself later on. But anyway, we're back. Jan. So how was your day kahapon, Jan?
It was good. Just stayed here at home. Konting groceries lang. And I noticed na kukunti lang yung mga tao outside. Traffic is very light. I guess people are following the restrictions.
Well, ako, yesterday was another day for the first time I went out of the house after 3 weeks furlough sa bahay. I went out that I tried to go to do a walk-in vaccination sa barangay namin. But when I saw na ang haba ng pila, sabi ko mag-aantay na lang ako dun sa online. But unfortunately, ang Quezon City raw ay naubusan na ng stock, ng inventory. So we'll have to wait for the second batch or third batch coming in. But anyway, alam mo, sabi nga na like what pinag-usapan natin dyan noong Lakbay ng Buhay ng Monday, itong pandemic has really changed our lives. Ang question, will we ever be able to get back to our old normal lives, or this is going to be our way of life for the next part of our lifetime? Now, ang pandemya kasi ngayon is ang issue ngayon is more than the health issue. It's the economic aspect ang problema, mas matindi ito. Kamukha ngayon, Metro Manila is under MACQ, Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine tayo. So that there are still limitations sa mga businesses. So, ngayon, ang problema is, ano ang impact? How much help is the government providing dito sa mga affected families? So, but anyway, let's hear it from our panelist muna na si Jolly Laboy, who is from Davao. Let's hear his thoughts. Let him share his thoughts about the pandemic. So, Jolly, you can make your opening statement, introduce yourself muna, and give us your thoughts.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I am Jolly Laboy, has been in the academe since 1996 until present, and based in Davao City. And have witnessed Davao City's growth until our mayor became the president. So being in the academe now is a big challenge for us in Davao, especially that there is one big school here who closed and then reopened, but a lot of problems, and so far they are moving up. And my being in the academe has pushed me and my colleagues to do some proposals on the effect. We are doing away with the word impact first because we cannot see the duration. The time duration that we need to study may not be worth an impact, but so far an effect. It's a gradual effect until how many periods of time, then we can now measure the impact. In Davao alone, so far we are doing good, and the academe, our university has, being a state university, tinanggal yung admission requirement. This is good because one university who has closed could actually provide opportunity for our state university, but still there will be requirements. Although the requirements are very, very minimal. So I am in the academe and the College of Business Administration.
Mhm.
So I'm teaching entrepreneurship courses and business courses both in the undergraduate and the masters in business administration. So my being in the academe and in 1996 until now has really proven to be challenging, especially that I am in Davao and has seen Davao to have grown to be a sort of a, because of the presidency of Rudy Duterte from our mayor, a lot of, as what you have said, we are a magnet now, and so far, uh, thank you very much for the invitation.
Okay. So anyway, as you were mentioning kanina earlier before we went live stream, you mentioned that despite the pandemic, Davao still is a vibrant economy. Can you expound it to us? How vibrant is that economy
Okay.
in terms compared to prior to the pandemic?
Okay. Um, the very evident no change in the economy of Davao was the reduction of the number of the volume of market because of no 15 years old and below, and then controlled, and then the 65 years old and above who cannot go out. And however, it has not stopped a significant number of businesses to close. We only closed at the time when we became an ECQ, but that was last year. But after that, when we became like now, we are on the GCQ. Uh, Almost all businesses are open. When I say almost all, because those who have, I think, issues inside, no, the entrepreneurs who have had probably not prepared for any crisis of any form. Now it's this pandemic, they were not prepared for that one. Okay, so maybe it was liquidity issue. We don't have data on that one, but we can only say why are some continuing to survive and then the rest are not. The good thing is that the city is open. The city is open at any time. Who would want to go to and ask help? I just cannot give you what form of help because it's so far, as I have known, a bit it's case to case. But the office of the city mayor of Inday Sara is open, and people who are in the business bureau, in the interstate economic enterprise, are also open, and all other offices that are under the city are open, and malls are open. All services sectors are open. Beach resorts, hotels have been allowed to open when they're capable, but only online booking. So, unlike before, the tourism industry, online booking was done plus walk in. Now, in Davao, no walk in, all online bookings. So, March 1 was the start of opening of the resorts, especially in Samal, and which is just a few minutes from Davao City. In Davao City, we also have resorts that have opened, but yun nga, it's online booking only. No walk-in. We have tried that actually, but to no avail. Then the sector on real estate, as far as what we have seen, continues to be doing what they have been doing before. And while evident, there is the increase in the construction materials. True. But so far, um, we have not seen or any issue and any other uh, people going to media, going to the city that they have problems on construction. So as far as we're seeing, because of that silence, it's I think manageable at the level of the business and the level of the
Mhm.
individual people. Yeah. And it's actually what we are in the academe. No, it's actually what we would want to pursue. We are now having all those proposals because we don't want to theorize. We don't want to hypothesize. I mean, that maybe this, maybe that. So, like the effect of the COVID to tourism, to service sector, to and for the transportation, the city have had a very good program that they have tapped a big business company that flights uh sorry that flights a route, a specific route. uh this is not a brownout. May construction ho kami, so uh it's just something. So anyway, what happens now is every time the the construction, no, is into projects at what we have seen, because we have had in our area where we are, most of the real estate are found. So we are near the
Mhm.
airport, and we're seeing it's still growing, it's still booming, and it's increasing in number. So as of now, I cannot give any data on the effect that is negative so far. Except that, of course, on an individual family, the smallest economic unit, there are those that have been
Mhm.
affected, and there are those that have probably lost employment. But so
So,
far, I have not
okay.
seen any rallies. We have not seen any to the point that they have to go to the city and then shout out in the media, asking the media for help. So far, none as of the moment.
So you believe that that is a general sentiment sa Davao? Do you think it's just the general sentiment in Davao? Now, going back to what you were saying kanina, Jolly, that construction na parang tuloy-tuloy as they were before. But how about the volume of business? How was it affected by the pandemic?
uh, there is an effect due to the reduction of capacities in all of uh, the services. I mean, the physical
Mm-hmm.
uh, business that they have, restaurants, tourist attractions, etc., are all have been reduced by the city, and there is a local ordinance for that one. So there are service sectors, there are restaurants, that have been reduced. There are those 30% only capacity, 50% capacity, and there is a 75% capacity. And this, I don't know if this is happening in other cities, but what came about from this pandemic is the the influx or invasion of online sellers in Davao. And why do we know? Why would I know that? Because we have seen uh the the sprouting of, looks like, warehouses, big stores that have been converted. And then we were wondering, what are those that fall in line? Who are those that fall in line for so long? And there are many of them. And they said that's the bodega. So the bodega, that is, so when we went and then asked, bakit andito? Why are you buying? So sasabihin, ano kasi, binenta ko. So they buy from that, and then pinupost nila. Then, and sabi
In
namin,
online.
yeah, online. It
Mm.
could be Facebook only, or it could be, so sabi nila, is it giving you, sabi nila, on a daily basis, yes. So that is where they get. Kaya nga, so far, but the lines are very long. The queue is very long. So why? So you will continue. Sabi nga nila, maski pa wala ang pandemic, itutuloy namin ito. Because really, some really are buying, and then on a daily basis, it gives them that food on the table. Yan.
Mm. Okay. So, John, how if in-explain kanina ni Jolly na it's now the what is in today is the online thing. Ikaw, you're an IT expert on that. So do you think that ano yan, this is going to be sustainable livelihood yan? Yan? Yeah, Jan?
Yeah, I think so. Um, it's very convenient. I think hindi na yung question mo kanina na babalik pa ba sa normal or ito na magiging normal natin. I think ito na magiging normal natin, yung less na yung actual physical shopping, yung pupunta ka sa mall, you can just browse online and have it delivered. You can do more of the other things that you enjoy doing other than queuing up sa mall, walking and all those things and exposing yourself. So yun, I guess yun yung major thing. And tama si Jolly na sinasabi niya na yung online economy really boomed during this pandemic kasi sino nandun yung yung demand eh. So people are not allowed to go out. So how are they going to get their stuff? Delivery. So yung nag-boom na business is actually yung delivery business eh. Yung mga grab food, yung mga lalamove, yung mga ganon eh. Yung tok-tok, yung bago ngayon.
TikTok.
So,
Anyway, Jan,
tok-tok.
ikaw, that's your field. You're in the systems application industry na ikaw ang nagde-develop ng ganon. Would it not cripple the traditional market dahil ito ngayon pinapasok na ng online? As you're saying, matutuloy-tuloy na ito, but do you think that it is really sustainable for an economy na everything will be done online? What will happen to the traditional markets?
Natra-transform lang yan ang alam ko kasi the demand is there. Hindi naman nawala na. Like, people still need to eat. Hindi naman nabago yun eh. Pero yung how to get to the food that they want to eat, yun ang bago kasi hindi na pwede magpunta sa restaurant. So, what they do is they find other ways. Yun nga, yung food delivery. Mag-order ka. O kaya, like sa amin, dito sa bahay, recently we just found na it's cheaper to order our vegetables from one distributor. Galing sa Baguio yung mga kinukuha niyang it's cheaper than going to the big groceries. Fresh pa yung yung mga gulay. So, and it's very convenient. Ganon din yung mga meats. We have lots of dogs here, so we need to stock on food for the dogs. And we need to buy meats. And again, we're finding more options so online sellers na we can compare sa sa prices sa mga groceries. And also isang major na binibilhan namin is sa yung SNR. We also found out that if you buy bulk, like more than 3 kilos of anything, you can get a cheaper price. So all those things. So anyway, na-discarrel ako pero it's the online thing. I don't think it's going to change. Ang isa pang nangyari is na decentralize yung retail system. Dati ang puntahan mo is Jollibee, McDonald's. Ngayon, you go to your village, ang dami nagtitinda ng pagkain sa village mo delivered. 'Di ba? So yung economy ng food sa locality mo, yun nabuhay yun.
Alam mo ang kinakabahan lang ako diyan sa setup na yon, because what happens kung halimbawa namatay na nga yung mga established markets na, yung mga tindahan, mga malls, etc., because pinatay ng online. And alam mo naman yan, yung mga online, especially ngayon, loosely regulated. It's not even regulated, I think. So,
dapat i-regulated. Dapat somehow may regulation, may meron dapat tawag nito. Meron silang responsibility kasi to bring quality product eh. So dapat
At saka
meron
yan,
nun.
at saka it's not a far-fetched reality na halimbawa isang mall, isang malaki, nagsara dahil sa nalugi dahil kinain na yung market nila ng mga online.
Baliktad ano?
But is-
Baliktad yung situation. Remember,
as is
before
as is
pinapatay yung small industries ng mall.
wala
Pag
na
nagtayo
ngayon,
ng
wala
mall,
na,
patay
wala
yung
na.
mga small industries. Ngayon
Eh, yung
baliktad.
sinasabi na lang ni Jolly kanina, he was explaining sa Davao, that they set up the warehouse, tapos yung mga online sellers doon kumukuha. What eventually, hinakat off nila yung mga traditional retailers outlets. So, what happens pag nawala ito? Because itong retailer, these are the outlets that generate employment, pay taxes to the government. Ano magiging impact nun? Would it not be
Yan.
after? And yan ngayon, hindi pa natin na-feel yan. Because everybody's doing online.
Emergency situation tayo eh.
This is a unique and emergency situation. My fear is, pag hindi ito na-regulate, hindi ito nabigyan ng pansin ng gobyerno, pag nagsara na yung mga established mga outlets, mga markets, tapos yun. Because itong mga sinasabi natin, mga informal sellers, mga online sellers, they are there because of the need. After that, wala na yun. Now
Yeah.
remember, isang established chain of stores, nagsara, can you imagine ilan ang madi-displaced na workers? And it's not easy to reopen again because they have to do it all over again. So that is one of my biggest fears.
Yeah. Ang tanong is that good or bad? Di ba? I guess yan yung dapat na pinag-aaralan ng mga nasa field ni Jolly. Kasi
Yeah.
nasa entrepreneurship eh. So, yung sinabi niya kanina na pinag-aaralan na lang impact ng pandemic sa industry, sa businesses. So, yun maganda yun kasi na-analyze mo eh yung dynamics eh. Ano yung saan pumupunta yung trend? At saka yun nga yung mention mo yung how can you regulate something na parang ang dami-dami, parang buhangin yung i-regulate mo eh, parang gano'n eh.
Diba? Ikaw, Jolly, you're in the business, economics at saka diba? Definitely, ang kakainin nitong mga online sellers are the traditional outlets. Ang market nila, established markets na yun. Saan pa man yan? Because it's the same market na nagpupunta doon eh. As far as we are concerned as consumers, it is to our convenience sa atin yan. Of course, but it exposes to us to certain risks. Ako, for instance, di ko lang babanggitin ang pangalan ng food chain. It's a big food chain. Pagdating sa amin ng in-order ng anak ko, may ipis. See? Kaibigan ni Jan Pamiari yata, no? Ano dyan, ano?
Ano yan, added feature yun.
But anyway, okay. So, Jolly, so, what do you
Getting sa audio.
You really don't,
Okay.
in Davao, you really don't feel much itong problema namin na dinaano dito sa Metro Manila, NCR.
Rejoinder doon sa sinabi ni Kuya Jan on the mga neighbors doing all the selling. We have created actually in the pandemic, we have created a new industry. It's the homeowners industry that I don't see it will actually stop because like as many homeowners association in Davao, yes, true enough, we have seen a chat group that is business and then another chat group that is only for issues about whatever they have in their community, in their village or in their subdivision. So eto siya na business group chat nila. Anyone can sell and anyone can offer anything. So that is what industry that actually has come out. And then contrary
May immediate feedback pati.
Yeah, may immediate feedback. And then contrary sa sinasabi na it would actually displace some of the existing entrepreneurs who have been there for so long. I do not see it as that way. The only thing that will be displaced is the physical store. the rental, the one who rents out those physical stores, the spaces, are the ones that will suffer. Because what would come out now is this traditional or who have been retailers who could actually
Mm.
go online still. So those who buy from them from the physical would actually resort to online, which is a trend, no? Then
Mm.
tama sinabi na regulated. The big challenge is the government, especially our BIR, because we still rely on paper trail.
Mm.
All of the income statements, all of it, are all paper trails. And then what if this online will continue to proliferate? All payments
Mm.
are fund transfers, are all Paymaya, are all credit
G-
cards, debit cards.
Gcash.
Yeah, mga GCash. Yeah. So now, how do we as BIR monitor income coming from this one? And as far as I have seen, even COA doing government procurement, etc., like us, the university now, we are trying to go into online payment. And COA is actually adopting, slowly adopting, but good they are adopting on monitoring the paper trail, or I, I don't know if they have another term, because it's still always paper trail. They say you cannot your student from Saudi Arabia, we have students from Saudi Arabia, from Oman, from Bahrain, from Saudi Arabia. How would they be paying us? So sasabihin, oo nga, ano, even COA have problem, but now I think they have addressed that one. So
So,
going
libre
back,
na pag paperless.
yeah, wala. As I have seen now, mahirap pa yung paperless sa kanila eh. And but I have heard already some institutions who have already done that one, and this is where the business practices are being shared to other government agencies, especially us, the state universities, no, that our students are affected
Mm.
on how we deliver to them. Because like me, some of my students are in the mountains, in some outside of Davao region, and
Okay.
some are in eastern Visayas, in southern Leyte. So they call the agent. So we go to the very basic. O sige, you answer paper, take photo, and then submit to group chat messenger. That's it. But going back to the industry that comes out is that homeowners will continue to exist for so long as it becomes actually a bonding part also of the community of that subdivision. And uh, all it has become a very good avenue for those who would want to sell anything. And the only thing that we are seeing is yung closure ng physical stores,
Mm.
because what would come out na is conversion of that physical stores probably into warehouses, or even in fact there will be no warehouses because supplier from Manila might be directly sent to whoever the clients are,
Mhm.
given
Drop
the volume.
shipping. Yeah, you can do drop shipping.
Yes, yes, oo. So anyway, that's what I see. It's not going to be the mga retailers. It's yung
Mm.
nagpaparenta ng mga spaces. Like malls. Yung sinabi nga, the mall, yeah. The malls would be affected in that way unless they convert that one into something na uh, I remember, there is one entrepreneur in Davao. Ang ginawa niya is, since alam niya marami na nag-online, walang physical sample na maibibigay. So nag-create siya ng local, yung name ng store niya. That's Mr. Estubilio. It's just 37, I think. So lahat ng nag-online, ang dami, doon inilagay niya sa physical store niya. So every time may nag-inquire, and then they would want some sample, they want to see. So if you could visit this store na ando naka-display. So, walang payment on the display, hindi niya hinihingan doon. But only when there is sold that he gets something from it. Yun lang. So, maganda yung concept niya actually. Kaya lang, yun, yung physical store niya. And sabi niya, probably this can grow because yung iba nagtitinda, and then saan nila i-display? Wala. Doon inilalagay nila sa kanya. And that started last year. I think about this month, o April, magwa 1 year na.
Mhm.
So nag-open talaga siya ng physical store, ha?
Yes,
Yeah.
nag-open siya ng physical store
So
and then
parang
ginawa siyang display, exhibit.
consigned nila sa kanya yung mga items. I mean, so, natural meron
Yeah,
siyang inventory.
yeah, meron. Oo.
Oh,
Or samples
consigned.
lang.
Yeah, I think I have not actually visited that one because I just came to know it about months ago, and then hindi man kami makalabas ng ordinary. I mean, I do some self-discipline, especially me na I have issues on my lungs, no, yung dalawang lungs ko. Meron akong history ng bibasal pneumonia. So, sabi ng wife ko, let's go to that. But it has been when we browse, when we ask some, yeah, pupunta ka lang doon, meron makikita mo 'yon. So I think he hooks up, he connects the online seller whenever there are more than the inventory he has that is needed or that
In
is
your
ordered.
studies, in your studies, Jolly, in your studies, ano ang how much percent of it ang sinasabi mo kanina yung concern mo about the taxation? How much percent of it ang mawawala because of this informal online sellers na
Oh,
mawawala sa gobyerno?
actually there is no study yet on that one. Wala pa. But it has been a talk already because COA, COA and BIR, what we have been hearing about some CPAs, dini-discourage nila yung any form that there is no paper trail. Yung walang paper trail. So, it's a good researchable area actually. There is no data very specific. I'm sorry, I cannot give you that one. Kasi pag ibinigay ko yan, that's just my own opinion.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
mahirapan ako eh. And but rest assured, I think in due time or maybe 1 to 2 months from now, we'll try to talk about it, my colleagues, about that one. How
But
much really will be the loss?
but this is a business reality that's happening now,
Yes,
as you're
yes,
saying, this is now a business
yes,
reality happening.
yes, yes. So paper trail is really a big problem now. Checking and then regulating. Tama yung sinabi na what about the quality of the products that actually arrives, and then how do you monitor and change it? That would be a big problem. So that's a big challenge to our Republic Act on consumerism. Uh,
Hmm.
na dapat
Alam mo,
maisauli na. Yeah.
ito dyan kasi ang isang challenge dito sa online selling. Because babayaran mo na kagad, ikakaskas mo yung credit card mo or
Yes.
papasok mo na yung GCash mo. So,
May
but the
COD
point
din, may
is,
COD.
may COD rin, pero ang problema nga is you only have to rely on the reviews bago mo mag-click ka ng mag-order ka na, place order. You have to ikaw dyan ang
Correct. Kasi maraming scams eh.
At saka yung COD, hindi marami ang courier na nagsi-COD.
Lalo pag
So,
big items na, yung libo-libo na yung babayaran.
and then yung covered areas nila, hindi rin gaano malaki yung scope.
Oo.
So how is the investor confidence in Davao, Jolly?
Only recently, NEDA released a data that 40% nag-reduce ang mga investment approval by the Board of Investments. And when we actually we've been asking, ano kaya yung reason? So, yes, pandemic nga. But more than the pandemic, we see na hindi nakakapag-open, hindi nag-open, hindi nag-invest, so that number was reduced 40% yung reduction. And then there are only certain sectors that have been approved in the region in Davao. Real estate was one approved.
What particular economic sector ang meron pang mga new investments coming in sa Davao Jolly?
The NEDA has identified real estate, agriculture, forestry and fishing, food services, support services, and manufacturing. Those are some of the sectors that are new as of February 2021. na nirelease ng NEDA. Yeah.
So, ibig sabihin, ang investor interest niyan mataas pa. I mean, you have like global investors or local investors mostly coming in.
Out of the, parang if there are 7 sectors, 5 yung local. Then yung dalawa, foreign. Oo. Yun yung data from NEDA. Oo.
So,
So,
in terms of employment, so ang employment rate niyo ba dyan sa Davao hindi bumaba, hindi or nag-status ko lang kayo maintain or nag-spike ka ba? Kasi as you're saying, nag-open na nga yung but then 30%, 20%. So there must be some displacement, job displacement talaga yan. Although yung iba napunta nga doon sa informal online sellers, but it's ano yun eh. I mean, it's not going to be on record. Hindi natin alam kung ilan ang
so far we have not seen any alarming data on displaced employees because the city has introduced an alternative work arrangement. So, meaning, including private sector yon. Kung 5 days a week, 6 days a week before, they only go there 3 days a week or 4 days a week, and then yung 2 days wala. So it means to say wala silang bayad. So what we are seeing is not a reduction of not an increase of unemployment, but a reduction in the salaries that they have been receiving, especially from the private sector. Government, no problem, but still we do the alternate work arrangement. Like me, I have opted for full work from home. So actually maganda, but I've seen it mas mahirap pala ang work from home kasi maski 1 AM 1 AM may estudyante ako from Dubai. May estudyante ako 1 AM, 2 AM. Mas mahirap pala ito kaysa na naka-schedule na like before, naka-schedule silang mag-a-adjust kung anong schedule ng Philippine time. Oo. So far,
nawala yung boundary, yung geographical boundaries nawala eh.
Yeah, yung real time wala. I mean na-introduce yung real time. Nawala yung Philippine time, yung time, oo. So far, yung number of employee like sa university namin, walang tinanggal na nalaman namin. Puro binalik. Only 3 days lang, 4 days lang. Meron
It's better than no work.
Yes, better than no work. So, walang nagreklamo doon because it's actually an advantage. They know that the government is suffering. They know that the private sector is suffering. But with the introduction of the new work arrangement, it has actually still given them that opportunity that they will have food on the table. No problem with that one. And then, they still have the security because there is no effect. It will not affect the number of years or number of yung duration of employment.
Tenure.
Yeah, yung tenure, hindi affected. Only, maski pa yung number ganon, you're there, you're paid that way, but the government or that private sector still recognizes that you have served in full. Only because of this, So yun yung maganda na,
So
yung work
3 days work sila, tapos may 2 days delivery.
Yeah. Actually, I have come to know a good number na yung mga flower pot na nagmumold
Kasi
sila.
maraming plantita na ngayon eh.
Yes, so dumami sa mga kilala namin na nagbebenta yan. So, ang nakakatawa nito nagdi-deliver. Even kami nag-order. Nagdi-deliver. Machurizo, ma-artificial plant, etc. Naka-Fortuner. Nagdi-deliver. Naka-pick up ng Navara. Yeah. Tapos anong sasabihin? Mas maganda na ito, may maidadagdag. Kesa na nakaupo lang sa bahay, na walang ginawa, nakaharap daw sa computer, buti, lagyan mo ng something, i-post mo sa computer, baka may mag-order. Meron nga. So, I mean, that one, no. But these are informal entrepreneurs, informal sector entrepreneurs that cannot be monitored as of now by the government so that the government actually can earn from them. But
but wala bang natatanggap na complaints ang city government on that, mga online scams or something like that, mga ganon? Jolly in Davao?
So far ang nakikita namin dito is dinidiretso nila muna doon sa mga seller. And then after nung seller, eto lang this is just something na narinig ko lang. Nung nalaman na yung buyer is from Davao, inayos kaagad. I mean, I don't know, no? That was just a one person isolated probably yon na ito ang nangyari. But point is, there is no issue. There is no something that they ask the government to take action on this, to go to DTI to take action on this or etc. Wala pa so far in the local media, in wala pa kami naririnig po doon. Oo. And our university is just pushing for researches on the effect of COVID on some sectors, the informal sectors doing business, the planning stages affecting the planning of all MSMEs. Yun yung mga research areas that are now being pushed by our
Yeah.
university.
Yung isa pa dyan sa online economy is yung immediate feedback na available. So, yung problem natin or issue natin ng quality or of service is addressed kaagad kasi nagiging viral ka kaagad eh. Pag nag-provide ka ng maling product o substandard na product sa premise mo, kakalat ka agad yun eh. Iba-bash ka pa, di ba? So mag-spread ka agad yan sa buong community, malalaman yung reputation mo. You either have to close and open as a different entity para malinis yung pangalan mo.
Yeah. Oh. Sa iyo, Jolly, sa mga ginagawa niyo mga research, do you think that it would be appropriate for you to recommend to the city government to at least place a level of regulation dito sa mga online sa informal sellers, on informal economy?
That's a very good suggestion. The city actually is knocking on on the universities here in Davao kung ano yung mga COVID-related studies that you have. And then they're asking that one. The only so far constraints that the university is able to act upon immediately on that calling of the city is we have agenda kasi. The universities, private or government, may mga research agenda. And it means to say that yung allocation of the budget is on those agenda. If we explore on agenda outside of that of what was in that list, katakot-takot yung approval na kakailanganin. So, last year, yung mga researchable areas, nakita namin, we were seeing na ngayon, hindi siya kasama yung aandito ng mga nangyayari. So, like yung online na yan, na trying to, how do we monitor, improve monitoring so that government can regulate, wala ho yan sa research agenda previously because it just came out na yung nagballoon. Talaga nagballoon yung online, and then there is now yung mga issues about paano nga pag-monitor sa kanila on the income that they get, on complaints that they receive, etc. But I think maybe in next few months I can give you that one once we
Sige, Jolly,
Yeah.
sige.
yeah
Sige, go.
once we asked our university help if we can, or the city is actually open na like Mayor said na sige kung hindi ma-fund i-submit nyo lang dito. And syempre even if isa-submit namin yon, it has to pass through a panel that is actually of good quality naman yung proposal. So that is in our university. Then the university now will endorse that to the city. And that is what is actually ongoing. Hindi lang ho nagiging madali because of yun, agenda last year. So meron din mga resolutions gagawin ng university for that researchable area to be approved and then endorsed to the but open yung university namin.
Ako, the way I look at it, the city government would have a particular interest in that. Kasi sila rin ang tatamaan eh.
Yeah.
Because yung mga usual revenue sources nila, kakainin na nito mga informal economy na ito. There's no way of knowing how much really is the volume of transactions happening and how much is being lost in terms of city mayor's permit, in terms of
Pero I think it's going to be a permanent change. So you just have to adapt. The business has to adapt to what's happening. And that's what's happening. Nag-a-adjust tayo sa bagong situation natin. And I think yung sa question yun nung kanina, yung how are they going to be taxed? Diba?
Yeah.
Ang naisip ko lang is the government should, if the government provides them with an online system free to all the small businesses, then built in na dun yung calculation ng tax. It's the same thing that one of the big malls operator does. Lahat ng nagre-rent sa kanya ng pwesto, ang cash register is kanya. So, mamamonitor niya lahat ng nangyayari dun sa lahat ng nagtitinda, lahat ng nagre-rent dun sa mall niya. So, it's a similar situation, larger scale mo lang. So, yun ang naisip ko na, no? So, you give it for free. Oh, you give it for free and lahat is built in, standard. If there's it's a new policy, implemented ka agad. Wala nang cheche-boreche.
Yeah, because the current situation ng businesses is they buy their own register and then they ask it to be registered in the with BIR and then bibigyan. Whereas kung ibigay yun ng government to them for monitoring, then magiging mas madali para sa
Compliant na eh.
without cost pa.
Yeah,
Compliant na eh. Oh.
Yan ang linya ni Jan.
Yeah.
Di ba Jan? SAP. Ano ba yun? Ano ba yan Jan?
Udo ang sa
sige.
akin eh.
Udo. Yan ang
competition.
O sige, ito na lang. We back it up with a research to put a strong foundation for that need. And then, pasok na ang negosyo ni ano.
I can understand the rationale na sinasabi ni Jan. Why not put up a platform na yan ang sasabihin ng gobyerno, gamitin nyo ito libre para lahat ng transaction may on record lalabas ang gobyerno. Now, if you don't use, nakipag-transact ka and without using that platform, then illegal ka.
Mm-hmm.
You fall
It's a win-win. It's a win-all situation.
Yeah.
Correct.
Ikaw naman, ikaw informal business ka, at least you are able to use the platform for free. At ganun din naman, sa gobyerno, hindi ka makakalusot because makikita ko ang volume of transactions mo.
Okay, now, for the registration, how do we ask or identify sino-sino sila? We can channel it to yung homeowners, is one big organization. They probably have incentive for doing that one. Or yung purok or yung
cooperatives.
Yeah, cooperatives, another one. Yeah.
Kali, that would be the works of Jan. Yan ang expertise niya.
Yeah, sige. Now I know what I have to propose. How to tax itong yung mga informal online.
You can start it with your local government. Because mahirap kung dito ka sa national, ang daming bureaucratic.
Tulong ako dyan.
I'll make the three of us as proponents para may industry. No, I mean, sorry but the university actually encourages us to collaborate with experts in the field. So that up and then yung national coverage and then sorry, I asked a local na kasama that maybe 4 or 5 of us will be doing the study. Maski local pa yan, but collaboration is encouraged.
Actually, come to think of it, talagang practical, it's a very practical solution sa problema na. Kasi sinasabi nga natin na this informal economy, online sellers will stay. Even if mawala na itong pandemya, nandiyan pa rin yan. Because a lot of consumers have already experienced the convenience, the economy online market, di ba? So, maaandyan yan. So, might as well, tama yung suggestion ni Jan, mag-put up ka na lang ng platform, free, sasabihin ng gobyerno, LGU, mas madali yan sa LGU. Okay, this is the platform that we use.
Now, I have in mind na how do we sell that proposal to the city government so that the city government will finance it. So, do you want to earn money from online sellers? Oh, maybe that sexy title, we can put that one. And they'll say, oh, how? okay, we're conducting this research, please finance it. This is,
Pero titingnan lang naman nila yan. Ano ba ang anong nagiging leakage dito sa revenues because of the ito ngayon emergence of the online seller? How much
Paper
we can
trail nga yung ano kailangan eh. So we can have paperless business na.
alam mo ngayon, it's tama yung si Jan, even sa yung customs paperless na, faceless, cashless, paperless transaction. But you can still have a record in it online. Hindi nila pwede maitago yun because
Correct.
ang papel pwede pang masunog pero online records kamukha
Yeah.
yung mga system nila. Hindi ko lang babanggitin ang ano ang value added service provider nila on that, but hindi nila maitatago pag online record.
Yeah.
Nasa cloud yan dyan, ano,
Correct. Yung mga multiple backups yan.
may multiple backups. It's even safer than a paper trail.
So this comes into mind, Kuya Jan. How does US monitor eBay, Amazon, or China monitor Alibaba?
China is a good example kasi China has one proxy. All the internet traffic goes through this one proxy, so everything is streamed. Kaya yung mga they can stop anything na they don't want from coming in. Yun.
Okay.
So yun yung sa yung sa China. Yun madali.
Diba? Ganyan. So anyway, okay. Now, palagay ko si Jan, si Emma, again, got hold up ito yung client niya sa Dubai. But we had a very, very interesting discussion. So,
May output po tayo dito, Uncle. Yung output po natin na yon is the crafting of a research proposal on taxing all informal sector online entrepreneur.
that would be the forte of Jan because what is
The
important,
system is ready.
the system is there. Di ba? Di ba? So anyway, okay. So well, hindi natin namalayan dyan eh. 1 hour na pala tayo. But it's very interesting. Alam mo, ang ganda ng insights mo, Jolly, from Davao because alam mo, Davao has always been misunderstood. You know, because sabi nga nila, the Republic of Davao. But,
Meron pa ho, hindi nakakaalam. They thought Davao kasi is just like Iloilo or other cities. When they went here, ang daming mga kilala namin from university and outside, nasusurprise na yung mga highways were already wide even before Mayor Duterte became the president. And we had already around 8 to 10 malls before Mayor Duterte became the president. And we had already 2 million people in Davao. And yung transient yon na population or contingent transient was around 400,000. They come to Davao to work and then they go out of Davao. And now, evident pa yung pag-sprout ng mga condominiums. Ang daming condominiums. So anyway, true enough, many have and they did not know. And then ang ano pa nila is nasusurprise na 15 minutes you can have white sand. 15 minutes you have waterfalls. 15 minutes you have white water rafting. Etong
But
mga tourist spots.
how's the peace and order situation in Davao, Jolly, right now?
Ang Davao kasi, since when President Duterte, when Mayor Duterte was mayor, yung mga tao na were very vigilant. Sila na mismo yung nagsusumbong, sila na mismo yung mga nagpupulis, kumbaga. And even until now, yung mga tao na nasa loob are the ones actually who, yung sinasabi na, oy, wag mong gawin yan kasi mali yan. So far, it has been a culture. Kaya nga sabi, pwede pala. Yeah, pwede. But unfortunately, some really do not understand na the road towards that one, na ba't naging disiplina, was yung pag-instill ni Mayor, this is my opinion, pag-instill ni Mayor ng fear dun sa mga malicious-minded, poisonous yung mga mind. Kaya nga, he has always that tagline, we will make Davao the most dangerous place for criminals. And it is ongoing until now. Yeah. Kaya nga inano nila na yung mga human rights, dito na sa Davao, at that time when I came here, that was I think 1996, two persons from me, binaril, tumba. Nung nakita namin yung itsura, tapos ano yung mga bitbit, mismo yung isang tao, yung matanda na babae kasama namin, nakita niya yung bumeril, nakatutok pa, sinabihan pa niya, Dong, buhi pa. Tinira ulit. Pagkatapos, wala na. Umalis lahat. Yun. Unfortunate lang probably kung siguro misjudged lang because of the hitsura ng tao. Probably. But what he was bringing was really something na may nag-ano pa na he was a thief, he was an etc. And then labas-pasok sa kulungan. So yung ano ni Mayor, paglabas-pasok sa kulungan, he is already a menace in society. I think we need to do something. Yun ang sinasabi niya. But there is really no proof na ano yun? Nothing. Oo. So, yung peace and order is now the people who are doing the policing, do the police, are the police of the police, of the police. Or, I mean, yung ganon, no?
Okay, so remember, we're just a few months away from 2022.
Yeah. Okay. Oo nga, oo. Oo.
Oh, anyway, we're almost done. We're almost done. Jan, hello, Jan. Wala si Jan dyan.
Yan, his phone daw died. Oo.
Okay.
Yes.
So Jolly, you're enjoying your stay in Davao, huh?
Yeah. Actually, look at it this way, Uncle. A lot of my batchmates in UP, when we graduated, I was the only outlier.
Okay.
I was the only one who went to Davao. And then after a few years, a good friend who is now a doctor here, anesthesiologist, and now in Davao. And then there are two also who are in Jensen. But after that, many were asking me, why in Davao? Well, I was allowed to visit by Uncle Yeto before. And then when I saw what Davao was, it was really promising. The choice was between Bacolod and Davao. The only problem with Bacolod was, I'm so sorry, evident ang very rich and the very poor.
Ang gap
While
na.
in Davao, no matter how classy the restaurants are, no matter how high-end, etc., you will be surprised. Many go there, but they are average, etc. They can afford. They can. Because food so far in Davao and fruits and vegetables are relatively very cheap compared to other places in the Philippines. Yeah.
The last time I was in Davao was during the time that I think ang commissioner ng customs si Rufi Biazon. We visited there at that Bureau of Customs Davao. That was the last time.
Opo.
Medyo we stayed in a hotel near na mall. Merong mall doon. Ang ano ko doon yung panga.
Yeah. Panga. Yeah. Los Quinilaw probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is very famous for here for the panga. And yung panga dito is of all sizes. Big, small, very big. And then it's actually relatively cheap. Kaya nga masusurprise. Oo.
No, so do you think that how do you see Davao in the next after 2022? How do you see Davao, Jolly?
Davao will continue to be Davao, and regardless of what happens during the election, the good thing is that it has been noticed already. Because prior to the presidency of Mayor Duterte, Davao was Davao. Nobody noticed it. Nobody was that it was like this. When Mayor became the president, and he always has been saying Exhibit A. Exhibit A. And many were able to notice that. And that was the influx, migration pattern in Davao really increased. So in the next few years, we are still seeing that there is still going to be an increase of that because as of now, there are those, I think, if I am correct in saying, we have been hearing, Mayor, they don't want you in the national level anymore. Go back to Davao. We still love you. And if Mayor will be here, we know it will continue to bloom. The economy will continue to blossom. Uh, it's recognized for all of the regions in Mindanao. Davao is the destination. That's why he is well respected regardless of what affiliation, whether yung our Islam brothers, Catholic, the extremists, the etc. He is respected. Kaya nga pag pumunta doon, it's very peaceful. Wala kang maririnig na may mga allegation nga nagkikita-kita ang mga commander ng NPA, commander ng etc. nagkakasalubong doon sa mga mall etc. And then they know each other. Why would they do? Because they respect the mayor. Ito pa na why merong ganon nga maganda na rapport, because we've been hearing that every December the mayor sends truckloads of food and etc. to all this. Ma-NPA ka, ma-extremist ka, ma-etc. ka. We have been hearing that one. Pinapadalhan niya yan, regardless kung sino yan. Basta ang sabi lang niya, when you go to Davao, please respect me. No away. That will be. Kaya we have not been seeing na merong mga etc. Except lang for one or two na that one medyo isolated na tinitingnan namin. Oo. So, I'm loving Davao so far.
So
And
anyway,
the next, sorry, Uncle, in the next, sabi niya, how do you see it? I'm seeing a very good, peaceful future of my daughters. That's why I came to Davao, because I wanted my children to have a very peaceful, etc. Na mga babae pa naman, I don't want them going out na mayroong mga fear of this, fear of that one. So far, because Davao.
so I would not be surprised if si Jan naman would have that fear in Kainta. So anyway, we're almost done. So can you give us your wrap-up statement or closing statement, Jolly, on this on our
Yeah. The talakayan that you have,
real
you are
pick, real pick,
that,
real pick that yard.
yeah. Okay. So this is a venue where we are able to do some real talk, and then revelations are given that are actually not being noticed by many, and this is an opportunity that this is going to be showcased, and hopefully for those who are listening, uh, do take this as a way for you to explore whatever that comes out here. Is consider it as your an idea for you to explore, not to take it lightly, not to take it also seriously, but you craft your own mindset because of what has come out here, and that would actually bring a better principle in you so far. So yung economy that we have been talking here so far, in it's unfortunate that in other places really there is a bad fix, and in Davao this is it, and we just pray that COVID would actually be ending immediately, and whatever new normal that we have here, it's going to be brought back with more peace of mind. So a big thank you for Uncle Chito Unya and Kuya John Sibala for this opportunity, as sharing what I have seen in Davao. Thank you. Daghang salamat.
Jan from Kainta.
I'm excited. Ating partnership. So I have always been an advocate of continuous improvement, and situations like this, our creative mind is really tickled when things like this happen. There's a big problem, so you try to solve. How can you solve a problem? And that thing I suggested is just one way of that we can solve a problem. Hope it will progress from there. Um, and also, I hope that this virus will be killed. The cycle of this virus will stop very soon. Kasi before when the statistics were coming out, they were just numbers to me. But
Yeah.
now there are names that I know that are included in those numbers now. So it's close to me. Yun na.
Well, another hour has passed, and definitely we had a very interesting topic. And especially that these two guys are not are very very familiar to me, really, really. But anyway, as sinasabi nga ni Jan kanina, this is a reality that we really have to face. Ako, I just finished my lockdown sa bahay, 2 weeks. Then I extended self-imposed extension na 3 weeks. In fact, it was only yesterday that I went out. Ako nag-drive. Sabi ko sa anak ako magda-drive. Namimiss ko na mag-drive. Anyway, but it's it's hard engaging the COVID-19 problem. But again, tama ito, sinasabi nga ni Jolly, ano na, whatever help we can do, whatever things we can share, let's do it. Let's share, let's do what we can, if only to help humanity. Thank you everyone, good night, at maraming salamat po muli sa ating, bye-bye, good night.
Right. Ending